Just a minute, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Gita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna to all the devotees and Savita Mataji. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, today we are so fortunate to have Her Grace One Malini Manjiri Mataji from Cedar Rapids, Ohio. And Mataji will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam 5.7.23. Mataji, are you ready, Mataji? Please take over the call now.
Hare Krishna, my Dandavat pranams to all the assembled devotees on the call. Thank you for the opportunity. And today's verse is such a beautiful verse, and we saw in many purports Prabhupada referring to this verse, and then it is also describes the 9 processes of different devotional service. 7.5.23. We are very fortunate to regularly discuss Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. And with that note, I would like to start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrandam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Hare Krishna once again to all the devotees assembled here to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. Many times we know that Srimad Bhagavatam should be discussed or heard, chanted, Shravanam, hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. And reading of Srimad Bhagavatam is the most auspicious thing that we can do in our lifetime. And that too, when we do it regularly, it becomes Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam, the word Nityam is always, 24/7. We are all grahasthas engaged in so many activities for the maintenance of our body and soul together, and our family members. Of course, we do more than want, so we don't get sometimes time. But I see many of you are so regular, sincere, dedicated to hearing process of Srimad Bhagavatam. So if many of us, when we count our assets, we generally count the tangible material things. But this is beyond material thing. This is transcendental. hearing and chanting of Srimad Bhagavatam or holy names of the Lord is the most auspicious, most valuable thing that we are ever doing, because we are doing the right thing as a human being. We are perfecting ourselves, and we are on the path of going back to our home, back to Godhead. And this verse is very long. The purport of this verse is very long. So I will try to read. Usually we read the purport and then we go into the explanation. I think if I read the purport itself may take 20-30 minutes. So I'll go para by para, reading and discussing on the purport. Sri Pehraduvacha Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnusmaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandhanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktischennava Kriyeta Bhagavatyadha Tanmanyeditam Uttamam. So, Navalakshana, Bhaktischena Navalakshana. 9 processes of devotional service is what here Prahlad Maharaj is explaining. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So if we are not doing any of these 9 persons, however big degree we may have, however a big position we may be working in this material world, we are not considered as the learned people. So Prahlad Maharaj, why Prahlad Maharaj is speaking this verse? We all know Hiranyakasipu, Hiranyasha, 2 brothers who were born as Rakshasas, as demons. Previous to that, they both were the doorkeepers of Lord Vishnu, who has committed an offense. According to the 4 Kumaras, when they come, they obstruct their way to visit Krishna, and the 4 Kumaras curse them, and Lord comes in between. And if any of you remember that pastime from 3rd canto or 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord takes the responsibility of the mistake done by his servants, and then he mitigates their punishment, and he gives them an option. Do you want 6 lifetimes as a devotee of the Lord, worshipping Lord in a favorable way and come back to your home, or you need 3 lifetimes where you will be the most dangerous, powerful demons? But in that situation also, you are always obsessed about the Lord, but then in a unfavorable way. That means you consider Lord as an enemy, and you will be always thinking of him. So this is very natural. We know that how much we think about the things that we don't have than the things about we have, or how much we think more about the enemies that we have than the friends. So let's say you go to a gathering and you see, the first thing that you see is your enemy. There may be 90 other people who love you so much, who wants you to do something, but you will be thinking in the back of your mind about that one person who did not hug you, who did not call you, who did not say hi to you, and you will be focusing what he is doing, to whom he is talking, what it is. So you are always thinking of that person, but in an unfavorable way. So here Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyasha becomes the demons and always thinking about the Lord. So Hiranyakasipu has a son Prahlada, we already know, and Prahlada is now taking education from the sons of Sukracharya. Sukracharya is guru of Rakshasas. And Sukracharya's sons are teaching Hiranyakashipu's son Prahlada. So very natural for parents to ask what you are learning after they come back from the school, the kids, or um, if they're learning music or anything, and the father is not present in the class, or the father doesn't know, at the end of the day, generally the father, before making the kid sleep or anything, they will ask, what did you learn? So here, Prahlad Maharaj came back from his Gurukula holidays, and then Hiranyakashipu makes him sit on his lap, and then very nicely asks, what did you learn? And then Prahlad Maharaj starts speaking. Even though the teachers were teaching up everything about, they never taught him about devotional service to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. They were teaching him about economical, political things, all the other things. Because the situation at that time in the kingdom is that anybody who is doing devotional service to Vishnu or punished by Hiranyakashipu. Because Hiranyakashipu, by the boon that he has got from Brahma, he became super powerful and he became puffed up, and he thought that he is the supreme controller of the universe, and he started ruling all the Devi Devatas. In a way, it is giving him sense gratification. Like if he is going, he will say, air, don't move fast, like that. He was able to control and rule everybody. So there was no chance that Sukracharya's sons are teaching him devotional service to Vishnu. But Prahlad Maharaj here speaks about devotional service to the Lord. So this does not go in a palatable way for Hiranyakashipu, but this is so wonderful verse, referred many times. This verse and the verse from Ambarish Maharaj pastime in 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, how Ambarish Maharaj engages his all senses in the service of the Lord, are often referred by Prabhupada in many purports. There are few verses Prabhupada refers, and this is one verse. So purport. When Prahlad Maharaj was asked by his father to say something from whatever he had learned, he considered that what he had learned from his spiritual master was the best of all teachings, whereas what he learned about diplomacy from his material teachers, Sandha and Amaraka, was useless. So who was the spiritual master of Prahlad Maharaj? Narad Muni. When Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of his mother, Indra wants to kill that baby also. So Indra comes to kill Kayadu's son Prahlada, because he thinks that Hiranyakasipu is such a demon. This son who is going to be born is going to be even more powerful demon, and we have to fight. We will have a tough time. Then Narad Muni stops him, saying that no, don't do that. This boy is going to be a great devotee of Lord. So he takes Kayadu to his ashram, and he speaks Srimad Bhagavatam. Kayadu sleeps, but from inside womb, the baby listens. So many of you now, they say, right, like in olden days, the grandmothers always used to say, when you are pregnant, hear about Lord, chant the names of the Lord, because we think that the baby is not out of the womb, so the baby does not listen, or the baby does not have any choices. But from the moment even before we conceive, we can attract great devotees to our womb. That's how the devotees do. So the baby listens. Hearing is something which is very powerful than seeing. So the baby inside the womb listens. That's why many people, they wonder how their children, as soon as they're born, are attached to certain kind of sports. Way back in 23 years back, I used to have a colleague. I was initially I was very new to Krishna consciousness. It's way back, 25 years back. So she used to tell me, like, I don't know why my child, as soon as he's born, he's very much interested in boxing, the WWF fights. I wonder how a small kid can do. So now that Mataji is a great devotee also. At that time, she was like, I took her to the program, so she was very new. So then, because she was watching all the time those matches when she was pregnant, so that baby was listening to that, and he picked up that habit from the womb. So it's very important to keep an environment, devotional environment around a pregnant woman. Actually, it should be around all of us, because whatever we hear, whatever we see in the day, that occupies our thought processes. We may be thinking that, oh, we just have to be conscious of Krishna only when we are chanting. Of course, the 2 hours of chanting, being conscious of Krishna becomes very difficult for many devotees, because we don't understand the importance of chanting of the holy name. We don't have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names. We have Chintamani in our hands, and we are using it as a paperweight or something to crush the peanuts. So when we are chanting also, we are very inattentive, very careless. We do multiple things and chant. We think so many things and chant. There is no attentive chanting. There is no completely Krishna conscious observed chanting. In fact, not just pregnant women, all of us have to have an environment of Krishna consciousness always, because that is what we become, what we see, what we hear, what we think is what impacts us a lot. So here the spiritual master is Narad Muni, who has taught him about the devotional service to Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj thought, I will speak from that, rather than speaking from these gurus who were teaching me material subject matters. Bhakti pareshanubhavo viraktir anyatra cha. This is the symptom of a pure devotional service. A pure devotee is interested only in devotional service, not in material affairs. To execute devotional service, one should always engage in hearing and chanting about Krishna or Lord Vishnu. The process of temple worship is called Archana. So this is the symptom of pure devotee. Many people often ask this question, how do I know I am progressing in devotional service? How do I know I am a pure devotee of the Lord? Many places, if we see the purports, the verses speak about the symptoms and qualities of pure devotees. Parikshit Maharaj, when Parikshit Maharaj is cursed to die in 7 days, 18th chapter of first canto of Srimad Bhagvatam, many places it is mentioned how a pure devotee of Lord act. What is the priority of a pure devotee of Lord? Pure devotee of Lord never keeps himself in the center. He always keeps Krishna in the center. If we can keep Krishna in the center and think, act, so many things become very clear for us. Most of the times, our ego, our preferences, our things come into the place, and we will not be able to keep Krishna in the center. So the pure devotee of Lord, he never engages himself in the discussions of the material affairs. He would like to speak always about Krishna. So when you meet a pure devotee of Lord anywhere, if you want to know the devotee is progressing in Krishna consciousness or not, if you speak for 1 hour, he does not speak about Krishna even for 5 minutes, and rest all the time he speaks about the material affairs. Even though we ask or not, we are very, very interested. Then we should understand that he is not showing the symptom of the pure devotee of the Lord. So the pure devotee of the Lords are not interested in speaking about the material affairs. They always speak about Krishna. You will very easily know what the person is interested when when you hear to that person. If a person is often speaking about music, you know that he is interested in music. If a person is often speaking about his favorite actor or actress, you will know that that person is interested and thinking about his favorite actor or actress most of the time. And if somebody is speaking about a sport, you know that he's interested in that sport. Similarly, when you see a devotee, he's because he's absorbed, he's thinking about Krishna, he only speaks about Krishna. So that to speak like that, he will be always engaged in hearing and chanting about Krishna. The process of temple worship is called Archana. How to perform Archana will be explained herein. One should have complete faith in the words of Krishna, who says that he is the great well-wishing friend of everyone. Suhridam Sarva Bhuthanam. A devotee considers Krishna the only friend. This is called Sakhyam. So the 9 processes Prabhupada is explaining here. Sravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting about Krishna. Sravanam is listening, hearing. Kirtanam is singing about the Lord, or reciting the verses of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam also comes under Kirtanam. And Vishnu Smaranam. Smaranam is remembering about the Lord. Unless you hear and speak about something more often, you won't be remembering about it. So let's say you have to speak about something for 15 minutes. You will be thinking about it all the day. How I'm going to speak, what I'm going to speak, what I have to read. Or you try to remember. So remembering comes when your hearing and chanting is very strong. Otherwise, the remembering just does not come like that. So Sravanam, 1, Kirtanam 2, Vishnu Smaranam, thinking about Lord, 3, Pada Sevanam, worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord. Archanam is doing the deity worship to the Lord, number 5. Vandhanam, paying obeisances to the Lord, is number 6. Dasyam, worshipping the Lord, serving the Lord as a servant of the Lord. Sakhyam is serving the Lord as a friend. Atmanivedanam. Atmanivedanam is completely surrendering to the Lord. So 9, number 9. So all of these are the 9. So that is what Prabhupada is explaining here in the first paragraph of purport. So he is the great well-wishing friend of everyone. Surdam Sarva Bhutanam. A devotee considers Krishna the only friend. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Surdam Sarva Bhutanam. You will not be able to find a benefactor or well-wisher like me in this world. There is no second. So Krishna is the well-wishing friend, is the benefactor of all the living entities. Not just Devi Devatas, not just those who pray to him. He has a special space for those who worship him and pure devotees of the Lord, but he is the benefactor, well-wisher of all the living entities. So the devotee considers Krishna as the only friend, and he serves him in Sakhyam, that is friendship. Pumsarpita Vishnu. The word Pumsa means by all living entities. There are no distinctions permitting only a man or only a Brahmana to offer devotional service to the Lord. So here Prahlad Maharaj says all these things, Pumsarpita. Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu. Everybody can do all these 9 processes of devotional service. It's just not man, woman, all the living entities can perform these things. There are no distinctions permitting only a man or only a Brahmana to offer devotional service to the Lord. Everyone can do so. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Striyo Vaishyas Tata Sudras Tepi Yanti Param Gatim. Although women, Vaishyas and Sudras are considered less intelligent, they also can become devotees and return home back to Godhead. Everybody can do. There is no pre-qualification required for performing devotional service of the Lord. So when here in all these verses, it is mentioned that they are less intelligent, it is not materially. Nowadays, you all may come back saying, how can you call a woman less intelligent? She's leading a company. She's a CEO of company. She's going to space. Not talking about the material intelligence, about the spiritual intelligence. So women often dedicate their life taking care of families. Even though they are earning, they are doing everything, they are very loving, and most of them spend a lot of their time in taking care of the family. They are very affectionate people. They are very emotional, affectionate people. So most of the times they keep their spiritual life behind all these things. So once we take up spiritual life, once we come into the devotional service of the Lord, there is no man, woman. All are same. Prabhupada mentions that often in his purports. So don't take some things out of the context of the purports and worry, because this is something when somebody is reading, they get often confused. So when we are reading, we should not be thinking that it is just an English, Sanskrit, I know English, I will be reading, I will be able to understand the subject matter. I don't need to read with devotees or listen to anybody. We are doing a biggest mistake. Spiritual subject matters are not easy or not are not understood just by reading. They have to be read in the association of devotees, and first of all we have to hear also from devotees. Then we understand them in a proper way. Without guru, without parampara, spiritual subject matters will not be understood completely. So it is very, very, very important to do this in a bona fide way, not randomly. After hearing from a guru, from senior devotees, we also read, then our understanding becomes even more stronger. We start getting more questions. And when we go with those questions to the devotees, they clarify. Because these pure devotees of the Lord, they have realized Krishna. Krishna will not be understood by any other means. He is only understood by devotional service to the Lord. Krishna reveals himself to the devotees. Krishna tells about himself to the devotees, being impressed by their devotional service, their love, their dedication, their surrenders, their sincerity. So when these devotees are speaking about Krishna, it is coming directly from Krishna, because Krishna is revealing to them about Krishna. So it is very, 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 very important to hear. That's why Prabhupada has made such a good structure, that Mangalarati, chanting and hearing. So chanting is also very important. To understand what we are hearing, to not go here and there and get confused, our chanting is very important. So chanting and hearing. So hearing from a bona fide devotee is very, very important. Second paragraph. After performing sacrifices, sometimes a person engaged in fruitive activity customarily offers the results to Vishnu. But here it is said, Bhagavat Yadha. One must directly offer everything to Vishnu. This is called sannyasa, not merely nyasa. A tridandi sannyasi carries three dandas signifying kayo, mano, vakya, body, mind and words. All of these should be offered to Vishnu, and then one can begin devotional service. Fruitive workers first perform some pious activities and then formally or officially offer the results to Vishnu. The real devotee, however, first offers his surrender to Krishna with his body, mind and words, and thus uses his body, mind and words for the service of Krishna as Krishna desires. So again, Prabhupada mentioning another factor here, like the fruitive workers, the people who do punya karmas. Most of the time, they don't even offer the results to Krishna. They want the results. Many people do the punya. Why? Do this thing. It is very punya. So everybody knows what punya will give us back. Punya always gives us back happiness, pleasures, affluences, richness, good things in this material life. Punya's boundary is that. Like punya gives back to those things. But the punya in Chaitanya Charitamrita, one of the verses where Prabhupada writes, like, punya can result in three things. Punya gives happiness, opulences, riches in this material world. Second, it may take us to the heavenly planets. Third, it may introduce us to the pure devotees of the Lord. That too, not just the punya. Because when we are performing punya, we go to the places where there are pure devotees, and then knowingly or unknowingly, we may do service to them. Like, let's say you went to the temple to do the punya karma, to do an yajna, because I want now a good husband. So I'm going to temple to do a punya karma, to an yajna, because I've been told that doing this yajna will give me a good husband. So when I go there are pure devotees of the Lord also. And I unknowingly, accidentally help the pure devotee of the Lord, serve the pure devotee of the Lord. Like they may be chanting and they were coughing, and then I realized that, oh, they may need water. So I go quickly and give them some water. So I serve the pure devotee of the Lord. So when we serve the pure devotee of the Lord, what they do? They give us Krishna. So that lady has blessed me. Like, may Krishna bless you. Then I heard that Krishna is going to bless me. So the pure devotee of the Lord introduces us, sows that seed of bhakti in our hearts. So that will grow later. So punya can result in all three. So the people who are doing punya, what do? They first do the punya karma. And later, sometimes when they hear about Karma Yoga, they go and offer the results to the Krishna, saying that Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamasu. Krishna, I'm offering this result to you. So they do like that. But the pure devotees of the Lord, they first surrender to the Lord with their body, mind, and words. And later they will think, what should I do to please the Lord? What activity should I perform for the pleasure of the Lord? So the surrenderance comes first for the pure devotees of the Lord. It's not that after performing, I don't want to get attached to this result, so I'm going to surrender to Krishna. I'm going to offer it to Krishna. That is the mindset of people who are doing the karma yoga or who are doing the punya karmas. But the pure devotees of the Lord, they surrender through their body, mind, and intelligence, body, mind, and words to Krishna first, and then they act. So the motive in the beginning itself is like, what I'm going to do that will give pleasure to Krishna. There is no I there. I like to sing, so I will sing and then I'll offer to Krishna. No, they go there. I will do whatever is available there for the pleasure of the Lord. So here Prabhupada talks about nyasa. Nyasa is like not merely nyasa, sannyasa, doing everything for Krishna. So here he's saying mano. So that's why Tridandi, they carry a danda, and they are called Tridandi sannyasas because they use their body, mind, and words in the service of the Lord. So then they are the real sannyasas. Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakura gives the following explanation in his Tatya. The word Sravana refers to giving oral reception to the holy name and descriptions of the Lord's form, qualities, entourage, and pastimes as explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and similar authorized scriptures. After orally receiving such messages, one should memorize these vibrations and repeat them kirtan. So we discussed, right? Like first we have to hear from authorized scriptures, from authorized people in a parampara. So we should hear about the qualities of the Lord. We should hear about the Lord's forms, descriptions about the Lord's form, Lord's qualities, what is the paraphernalia Lord carries in his hands, and his pastimes, as explained in the authorized scriptures. And when we hear, what we should do, hearing should not stop just after, should not stop at the class. Oh, now the session is over. We don't need to think anymore about Krishna. We will think about something material. No. After orally receiving these messages, one should memorize these vibrations and repeat them. So we have to repeat these things, whatever I heard. So if we can repeat what we heard in a day, all our thoughts will be absorbed in that class whole day. This is a very good way to be thinking about the Lord always. Because with Krishna's mercy, I get to serve, however however disqualified or underqualified I am, with Krishna's mercy, I get opportunities to do the speaking service. And then I read a lot in a day also. What I do when I'm not reading is remembering what I have read. Because suddenly some devotee may call me in a class or ask me something, then I would like to give a reference from the scripture. But I am not ekasantragrahi. As soon as I read, it will go into my memory and I will remember forever. No, I don't have that skill. So what I do, I keep memorizing. I keep remembering what I have read today. Or I'll take a topic and I will see where are all the references. So you keep thinking about it. You keep memorizing about it. So that's what here Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying, that when you are repeating, repeating those vibrations, it becomes kirtan. So even in the kirtans in temple, when the lead singer is singing, we will be repeating. So for repeating, what we have to do, first we have to hear what the singer is singing. So the two things happen when we are in a bhajan. We are hearing and we are repeating. So hearing and repeating kirtanam. Sravanam and Kirtanam. So Sravanam is the first process in the 9 processes of devotional service. Listening, and more powerful than even seeing. Listening. Because when you are in a deep sleep, your ears first work. So you hear something first. So hearing is very, very important. So hearing and then Kirtanam. Smaranam comes next. Smaranam means trying to understand more and more about the Supreme Lord. So Smaranam, we are remembering, we are trying to understand more. I heard something in the class. Okay, how do I connect this? How do I see this? So Smaranam is trying to understand more and more about the Lord. Pada Sevanam means engaging oneself in servicing the lotus feet of the Lord according to the time and circumstances. So according to the time and circumstances, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, like doing the deity worship, cleaning the temple of the Lord, cooking prasadam for the Lord, all these becomes Pada Sevanam or direct Pada Sevanam, like how Lakshmi ji does in the Vaikunta. Archanam means worshipping Lord Vishnu as one does in the temple. Archanam, you all know, you all do Archanam in the temples. We all know. We take the Archana Thali and we offer the incense stick, flowers, and all those things to the Lord. So there are 16 items we can use in offering the Lord. And the full Archana contains all those 16 items. And the mini Archana contains incense stick, flower, and then lamp offering to the Lord. So that is also that is considered as Archana. And Vandhanam means offering obeisances. Vandhanam, offering obeisances to the Lord. So this is very, very, we may be wondering, like, offering obeisances to the Lord is a devotional service. I do it so casually. I just go, I don't even have any thoughts in my mind related to Krishna, and I fold my hands and bow my head. It comes so naturally to us. But if we can keep our body, mind, and words and pay obeisances to the Lord, thinking about the Lord as if we have seen the Supreme Controller in front of us, our well-wisher, our benefactor in front of us, and bow our head and pay him our obeisances with full of love and devotion to him, that Vandhanam also becomes service to the Lord. Offering obeisances or offering prayers to the Lord. So we need to memorize some prayers, the shlokas, if not at least the essence of those shlokas. And then when we go into the temple, the first thing that we should do is paying our obeisances to the Lord with all those prayers, with all those praises to the Lord, thinking oneself to be Nitya Krishna Dasa. So thinking oneself to be Nitya Krishna Dasa, everlastingly a servant of Krishna, is called Dasyam. So our real constitutional position, we may be having wonderful many positions in this material world. Some may be calling us as a mother, some may be calling us as a father, some may be calling us as a son, daughter. All these are temporary positions. We may be a CEO, we may be a organization's president or something. All these are temporary positions. Our eternal constitutional position is that we are Nitya Krishna Dasa. We are servants of Krishna. So thinking ourselves eternally servants of Krishna, everlastingly servants of Krishna, and serving is called Dasyam. So always, what is our position when we enter into the temple? I am servant of Krishna. There is no other position that we should be remembering at any point of life. Always, I am servant of Krishna. When proud is creeping in, we should go and do menial services in the temple to remind ourselves that we are servants of Krishna. That is the only thing. The servants of Krishna does what is the quality of the servants of the Krishna? They always do the things that will give pleasure to the master. They keep master in the center. They don't keep themselves in the center. We may be the greatest singer. We may be the greatest singer. But if there is a service that needs to be done there, that we have to clean the temple, we'll clean the temple. So it is Krishna in the center, not anything else. Sakyam means being a well-wisher of Krishna. So like Arjuna, like how Arjuna, Dasyam, we give an example of Hanuman and Sakhyam, like how Arjuna always served the Lord as a good friend. Like Krishna wants everyone to surrender to him because everyone is constitutionally his servant. Therefore, as a sincere friend of Krishna, one should preach this philosophy, requesting everyone to surrender unto Krishna. So as a sincere friend of Krishna, telling, giving us that position that we are friend of Krishna. Actually, Krishna is our friend. But there are devotees who consider themselves as a friend of Krishna, like how the pure devotees of the Lord Gopis, they think that Krishna is dependent on them, not that they are dependent on Krishna. Krishna is their master. The pure devotees of the Lord, they think that Krishna is dependent on them, and if they are not there, Krishna cannot lead his day-to-day life. That's how they think. That is their pure love. So as a if anybody is considering themselves as a friend of Krishna, what do? They should go. Prabhupada is so clear in every thing in his purpose. They should go preach the philosophy, requesting everyone to surrender to Krishna. So that's how we serve. Atma Nivedanam means offering Krishna everything. Offering Krishna. Atma Nivedanam means offering Krishna everything, including one's body, mind, intelligence, and whatever one may possesses. Example, Bali Maharaj. Shukracharya comes and tells Bali, Vamanadev is Krishna himself. He is not a small little boy as he is looking, 5-year-old. He is going to destroy you. Don't give him whatever he is asking. But Bali Maharaj, he says that, oh, if Krishna himself is asking, I will give everything. And he gives everything to Krishna. Everything, whatever he possesses. So that is called Atma Nivedanam. One's sincere endeavor to perform these 9 processes of devotional service is technically called bhakti. So when we are trying all the time to do one of these 9 devotional service or more than one of these 9 devotional services to the Lord in a day, according to our time and circumstances, according to our capacity, according to our understanding, then it is called bhakti. The word adha means directly. One should not be like the karmis who perform pious activities and then formally offer the results to Krishna. That is karma kanda. Those who do punya karma first and then later they'll say Krishna arpanamastu. So that is karma kanda. That is not pure devotional service. One should not aspire for the results of his pious activities, but should dedicate oneself fully and then act piously. In other words, one should act for the satisfaction of the Lord, not for the satisfaction of his own senses. That is the meaning of the word adha, directly. So many people, they act in a good way because they know that if they don't act in a good way, good will not come back to them. Do good, be good, do good. Everybody, we often see that, people say do good things so that the good thing comes back to you. So there is a slight desire for sense gratification there. Like if anybody says that, oh, good will not going to give you back good, then people will stop doing good. People do good things because they know that by doing good things, good will come back. That is not the case with the pure devotees of the Lord. Pure devotees of the Lord surrender to the Lord first. And though they know that doing the good thing pleases the Lord, so they will do. So for them, the motive behind doing good things is not that they will get good things back. Obviously, if we do good, good comes back. But the pure devotees of the Lord, they don't think what I am doing is good or bad. They only think whatever I am doing, is it going to give pleasure to the Lord or not? So that is what the pure devotees of the Lord think, and that becomes the direct service to the Lord. Anyavilashita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulena krishnanu bhaktiruttama. So this is anyavilashita sunyam. There is no other abhilasha, abhilashita. There is no other desire. The only desire is to serve Krishna. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation, that is called pure devotional service. One should simply satisfy Krishna without being influenced by fruitive knowledge or fruitive activity. So there should not be any other motive other than serving Krishna, other than doing the things for the pleasure of the Lord. So many people do many things. They do for getting fruitive results back, for material profit and material gain. So then that is not considered as pure devotional service. When we have anya abhilasha, anya means other than serving the Lord, if we have any other desire, then that is not pure devotional service. When we don't have any other desire other than serving the Lord, anyabhilashita sunyam, sunyam is zero, janma karmadhyana abhrutam anukulena. So we don't have anya abhilasha, we only have one abhilasha, that is serving the Lord. And how should be our service? In a favorable way, not like in the way of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, in an opposite way. It should be in a favorable way. Then that is the Uttama Bhakti, pure devotional service. The Gopala Tapani Upanishad says that the word Bhakti means engagement in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not of anyone else. This Upanishad describes that Bhakti is the offering of devotional service onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To perform devotional service, one should be relieved of the bodily conception of life and aspirations to be happy through elevation to the higher planetary systems. In other words, work performed simply for satisfaction of the Supreme Lord without any desire for material benefits is called bhakti. So when we perform services to the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord and without any desire for material benefits, it's called bhakti. So what is going to be a big obstacle for us not to do pure devotional service to the Lord is our material desires. Because we think that we are this body, and whatever the things that give pleasure to this body, we try to do more. So we get affected by the things that we don't have for this body. We don't have a good house, or we don't have a good car, we don't have a good children, or we don't have a good husband. That's going to affect us. And then immediately what we do, we approach the Lord to mitigate that suffering, to mitigate that pain. And we ask Lord for material benefits, because we are highly bodily conscious. So the desires are our obstacles in performing pure devotional service to the Lord, and our consciousness that we are this body, the bodily conception of life and aspirations to be happy through elevations to the higher planetary systems. So everybody wants to go to Swarga, heavenly planets. So that desire and being highly bodily conscious and the desire to enjoy pleasures in this material world are our obstacles to perform devotional service to the Lord. This shows that we don't have real knowledge, because happiness is not there in the material things. Material things give us temporary happiness. They don't give us permanent happiness. They don't give us happiness all the time. Whenever you engage in that activity, you won't get the same happiness every time. The happiness, spiritual happiness is permanent. Spiritual happiness is new every time. Spiritual happiness is not dependent on any other material thing. See, for getting material happiness, you should have something else other than you. You should have a TV, you should have somebody else. But spiritual happiness is not like that. It comes from within. And it is the real happiness. The material happiness is temporary happiness. The nature of the material happiness is most of the times we don't get what we desire. I also want to become the richest person in the world. It doesn't happen. So most of the times we don't get whatever we desire. Second, even after we get what we desire, it will not give us the same happiness that we thought it will give us. So some may be seeing on the Facebook a family going to Hawaii or any other place and putting a lot of nice, wonderful pictures and wrote so much on that, oh, this is heaven, this is like. So we imagine something and we go to that place and we don't experience that, then we are very disappointed. So material happinesses will not give us the same happiness as we expected. And the third thing, they are not permanent. They don't stay forever with us. Either we leave them or they leave us and go away. So this happens. So, but what we do all the day, all the time, 24/7, 365 days, we run behind these material happinesses. We dedicate all our time and energies in acquiring these material happinesses. The reason for this is that we are ignorant. We are highly bodily conscious. So the obstacles for us to do pure devotional service are that we are having a bodily conception and we are having a desire to enjoy by elevating ourselves to the higher planetary systems or a higher standard of living here. And that's why when we go approach to the Lord, when we do any service to the Lord, we put a tag, we put a condition. Krishna, I'm doing this service to you, but you make sure that you are keeping me happy. You are giving me whatever I want, whatever I think that will give me happiness. Right now, I'm thinking that a big car is going to give me happiness. So make sure that by the time I finish this service to you, you are making arrangements to get me that car. So this is how we perform the service to the Lord. But pure devotees of the Lord, they don't do that. They don't have any other desire. They don't have a desire for car. They don't have any other desire. The only desire they have is like when they are serving, Krishna, make sure that I'm doing this service in a way that gives you pleasure. I'm not talented enough. I'm not smart enough, but I'm still doing this service. So help me do this service, which gives you the more pleasure. So that is the thought process of pure devotees. Bhakti is also called Nishkarma or freedom from the results of fruitive activity. Bhakti and Nishkarma are on the same platform, although devotional service and fruitive activity appear almost the same. Nishkarma, because when we are doing service to the Lord without any material desire, that karma is not going to bind us. Punya karmas are going to bind us because we are doing that in an expectation that we will be elevated to the heavenly planet, or we will be given material appliances. To enjoy that, we have to take birth again. So it is going to bind us. Punya and Papa both are going to bind us because to suffer or to enjoy, we take body again. But bhakti, doing things for the pleasure of the Lord, is actually liberating us, is not binding us. So Nishkarma and Bhakti are at the same platform. The 9 different processes enunciated by Prahlad Maharaj, who learned them from Narad Muni, may not all be required for the execution of devotional service. If a devotee performs only one of these 9 without deviation, he can attain the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes it is found that when one performs one of the processes, other processes are mixed with it. That is not improper for a devotee. When a devotee executes any one of the 9 processes, Navalakshana, this is sufficient. The other 8 processes are included. Now let us discuss the 9 different processes. So, as we discussed before, this 9 processes, Prahlad Maharaj heard from Narada Muni, from an authorized, authenticated source. So that's why he repeated. So it is not needed that you have to do all the 9. Even if we do one, that is enough. That will help us to go back to Godhead. That will liberate us. Sometimes when we are doing one, more than one is included in that. So we don't need to be worrying that, oh, I'm not doing Archana, deity worship. We don't need to worry. If we are doing Sravanam, Kirtanam and all those things, so many other things are included in that. One process, if we can adapt and if we can execute, that is enough. Not that you have to perform all the 9. Shravanam, hearing of the holy name of the Lord, is the beginning of devotional service. Although any one of the 9 processes is sufficient, in chronological order, the hearing of the holy name of the Lord is the beginning. Indeed, it is essential, as enunciated by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Cheto dharpana marjanam. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is cleansed of the material conception of life, which is due to the dirty modes of material nature. When the dirt is cleansed from the core of one's heart, one can realize the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Thus, by hearing the holy name of the Lord, one comes to the platform of understanding the personal form of the Lord. After realizing the Lord's form, one can realize the transcendental qualities of the Lord. And when one can understand his transcendental qualities, one can understand the Lord's associates. In this way, a devotee advances further and further toward complete understanding of the Lord as he awakens in realization of the Lord's holy name, transcendental form and qualities, his paraphernalia, and everything pertaining to him. Therefore, the chronological process is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. The same process of chronological understanding holds true in chanting and remembering. When the chanting of the holy name, form, qualities, and paraphernalia is heard from the mouth of a pure devotee, his hearing and chanting are very pleasing. Srila Sanatana Goswami has forbidden us hearing the chanting of an artificial devotee or non-devotee. So hearing is very, 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 very important. So that's why whenever I come to this session, I always mention how fortunate we are. Maybe people may be thinking that I am exaggerating, but I am actually not even telling the full benefits of hearing, of chanting of the holy name of the Lord. I am very unqualified to express the benefits of hearing about the Lord. So the 1.5 hour of hearing everybody is doing the first thing in the morning, whichever time zone you are, is such an important process, such an auspicious thing, because it is going to clean the dirt that we have accumulated over lifetimes inside our heart. Many of us are trying to control material desires, our anger, our lust, our enviness, our jealousy, and we are not able to succeed. Don't focus on any of those things. Focus on chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Focus on hearing about the Lord. The cleaning process automatically happens. The more focus, the more qualitative chanting and qualitative hearing we do, the more cleaning happens. What will happen when we are clean? The tendency to do sin is removed from us. So that the future sufferings are already removed because we don't have sinful tendencies at all. And not only that, whatever the sins that we have performed in the past are also getting cleansed. Again, suffering in future is removed. And later, the prarabdha karma, whatever the suffering that is waiting behind our door, when we are going to open the door to come inside, will also go away. So chanting, hearing and chanting the holy names of the Lord is very, 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 very important. And the caution that we have to take is that we should not be hearing from those who are not pure devotees. So you may be wondering, will there be any person who is not a devotee of Lord can explain Bhagavatam? Yes, there are many people who do that because they know that they get paid for that, or they are scholars in Sanskrit and English, or they can speak very nicely. So there are many people who take this as a profession and speak for money. And then there are many devotees, there are many people who make the records of chanting of the holy name because they get paid, because they are good singers. People employ them and they pay them to sing, but they are not actually pure devotees of the Lord. They may be singing the same thing, but they are not pure devotees of the Lord. So Sanatana Goswami tells us to avoid hearing from the pure devotees of the Lord, because when we hear from pure devotees of the Lord, they mix their devotion, their realizations inside that, and they sow that seed of bhakti in us. Non-devotees cannot do that. So when bhakti lata bij is inside our heart, that will grow later. So that seed should be there. Hearing from the text of Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the most important process of hearing. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of transcendental chanting of the holy name, and therefore chanting here and hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam are transcendentally full of mellows. The transcendental holy name of the Lord may be heard and chanted according to the attraction of the devotee. One may chant the holy name of Lord Krishna, or one may chant the holy name of Lord Rama and Narsimhadev. The Lord has innumerable forms and names, and devotees may meditate upon a particular form and chant the holy name according to his attraction. The best course is to hear of the holy name form and so on from a pure devotee of the same standard as oneself. In other words, one who is attached to Krishna should chant and hear from other pure devotees who are also attached to Lord Krishna. The same principle applies for devotees attracted by Lord Rama, Lord Narasimha, and other forms of the Lord. Because Krishna is the ultimate form of the Lord, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, it is best to hear about Lord Krishna's name, form, and pastimes from a realized devotee who is particularly attracted by the form of Lord Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, great devotees like Sukadeva Goswami have specifically described Lord Krishna's holy name, form, and qualities. Unless one hears about the holy name, form, qualities of the Lord, one cannot clearly understand the processes of devotional service. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends that one chant the holy name of Krishna, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. If one is fortunate enough to hear from the mouth of a realized devotee, he is very easily successful on the path of devotional service. Therefore, hearing of the holy name, form, and qualities of the Lord is essential. Tadvag Vishargo Janatagha Viplavo Yasmin Pratislokam Abhadvate Api Namnaya Anantasya Yasontikaniyat Shravanti Gayanti Grunanti Sadavaha. Verses describing the name, form, and qualities of Anantadev, the unlimited Supreme Lord, are able to vanquish all the sinful reactions of the entire world. Therefore, even if such verses are improperly composed, devotees hear them, describe them, and accept them as bona fide authorized. In this connection, Sridhar Swami has remarked, but a pure devotee takes advantage of another pure devotee by trying to hear from him about the holy name, form, qualities of the Lord. If there is no much such opportunity, he alone chants and hears the holy name of the Lord. As I mentioned in the beginning, this purport is very, 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 very big. So, if we have read the
Very
whole
good.
purport.
હજુ થોબતી બહુ બધી થાય છે.
So I will stop here as we hearing from the pure devotee of the Lord is very, very important. Hearing and chanting about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, his paraphernalia, his qualities, these are all very, very important, and we should make sure we are doing it from the pure devotee, from a parampara. If there is nobody there, then we do that alone, but we should be doing that from the mouth of a pure devotee of the Lord. And especially we should hear about Krishna's pastimes, not from YouTube channels, not from somebody saying that, oh no, I heard this from my grandmother. We should be doing it from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And some may be attracted to Lord Rama's name, Lord Narasimhadev's name. That is also okay, because Krishna is having unlimited names and forms. And then they can chant. They also should do that in the association of the devotees and in the proper parampara. So Prabhupada goes on, Kirtanam, again about all the other things in the verse. So I can read the purport completely and stop this session. Kirtanam. The hearing of the holy name has been described above. Now let us try to understand the chanting of the holy name, which is second item in the consecutive order. It is recommended that such chanting be performed very loudly. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni says that without shame, he began traveling all over the world, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Trunadapi Sunechena Tarurapi Sahishna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. A devotee can very peacefully chant the holy name of the Lord by behaving more humbly than the grass, being tolerant like a tree, and offering respects to everyone, without expecting honor from anyone else. Such qualification make it easier to chant the holy name of the Lord. The process of transcendental chanting can be easily performed by anyone, even if one is physically unfit, classified lower than others, devoid of material qualifications, or not at all elevated in terms of pious activities. The chanting of the holy name is beneficial. An aristocratic birth, an advanced education, beautiful bodily features, wealth, and similar results of pious activities are all unnecessary for the advancement in spiritual life. For one can very easily advance simply by chanting the holy name. It is understood from the authoritative source of Vedic literature that, especially in this age, Kali Yuga, people are generally short-living, extremely bad in their habits, and inclined to accept methods of devotional service that are not bona fide. Moreover, they are always disturbed by material conditions, and they are mostly unfortunate. Under the circumstances, the performances of other processes such as yajna, dana, tapa, kriya, sacrifices, charity, and so on are not at all possible. Therefore, it is recommended Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva, 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 Gatiranyatha. In this age of quarrel, hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one advances perfectly in spiritual life. This is the best process for success in life. In other ages, the chanting of holy name is equally powerful, but especially in this age, Kali Yuga, it is most powerful. Kirtanad eva Krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one is liberated and returns home back to Godhead. Therefore, even if one is able to perform other processes of devotional service, one must adopt the chanting of holy name as the principal method of advancing in spiritual life. Ignai sankirtana praya yajantahi sumedasaha. Those who are very sharp in their intelligence should adapt this process of chanting the holy names of the Lord. One should not, however, manufacture different types of chanting. One should adhere seriously to the chanting of the holy name as recommended in the scriptures. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. While chanting the holy name of the Lord, one should be careful to avoid 10 offenses. From Sanat Kumara, it is understood that even if a person is severe offender in many ways, he is freed from the offensive life if he takes the shelter of the Lord's holy name. Indeed, even if a human being is no better than a two-legged animal, he will be liberated if he takes the shelter of the holy name of the Lord. One should therefore be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord's holy name. The offenses are described as follows: to blaspheme a devotee, especially a devotee engaged in broadcasting the glories of holy name; to consider the name of Lord Shiva or any other demigod to be equally as powerful as the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor is anyone superior to him. To disobey the instructions of the spiritual master, to blaspheme the Vedic literatures and literatures compiled in pursuance of Vedic literature, to comment the glories of the holy name of the Lord are exaggerated, to interpret the holy name is in a deviant way, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the chanting of the holy name, to compare the chanting of holy name to pious activities, to instruct the glories of holy name to a person who has no understanding of the chanting of holy name, not to awaken in transcendental attachment for the chanting of the holy name, even after hearing all these scripture injections. There is no way to atone for any of the offenses. It is therefore recommended that an offender at the feet of the holy name continue to chant the holy name 24 hours a day. Constant chanting of the holy name will make one free of offenses, and then he will gradually be elevated to the transcendental platform on which he can chant pure holy name and thus become a lover of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this purport is very big, Matajis and Prabhujis. I am going to stop after reading the Kirtanam. It is recommended that even if one commits offenses, one should continue chanting the holy name. In other words, the chanting of the holy name makes one offenseless. In the book Nama Kaumudi, it is recommended that if one is an offender at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, he should submit to the Vaishnava and be excused. Similarly, if one is an offender in chanting the holy name, he should submit to the holy name and thus be free from his offenses. In this connection, there is following statement spoken by Daksha to Lord Shiva. I did not know the glories of your personality, and therefore I committed an offense at your lotus feet in the open assembly. You are so kind, however, that you did not accept my any offense. Instead, when I was falling down because of accusing you, you saved me by your merciful glance. You are most great. Kindly excuse me and be satisfied with your own exalted qualities. One should be very humble, meek to offer one's desires and chant prayers composed in glorification of the holy name, such as Ayimukta Kulair Upasyamanam and Nivrutti Tarshair Upagiyamanas. One should chant such prayers to become free from the offenses at the lotus feet of the holy name. So chanting. So as we said before, doing one devotional service is enough. So we should not be thinking that, oh, I'm doing deity worship, so I don't need to chant. Chanting should be primary. Chanting should be done along with all the other processes. For Kali Yuga, chanting is powerful even in other yuga. But for Kali Yuga, with all our limitation, chanting is recommended. We cannot do yajnas, deity worship all the time, keeping deities in our house. We cannot do dhanas. We cannot do tapasya, austerities. But one thing that we can do is chanting the holy names of the Lord. And when we are chanting the holy names of the Lord, we should remember to avoid the offenses. and we should do regularly the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Let's say we do any mistakes, any offenses, still we should continue chanting the holy names of the Lord by asking for forgiveness from the devotee uh, to whom we have done an offense, and then continue with chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So chanting of the holy names of the Lord is the only way to clean our hearts of all the sinful tendencies. Chanting of the holy names of the Lord is the only way to help us attract the mercy of the Supreme Personality of the God. Chanting of the holy names of the Lord is the only way to keep us happy in this material world in any conditioning. So chanting of the holy name of the Lord is very, 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 very powerful. And how do we chant? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We should not manufacture our own chanting. We should be taking the bona fide way that is given to us. Mantra, Maha Mantra, chanting of the Maha Mantra is the only way. And when we will be able to chant it with absorption? When we are humble, and when we think ourselves lower than the blade of a grass, and when we offer respects to everyone, and when we don't expect that from back, and all these qualities, being humble makes us chant more better. When we are not able to chant with quality, when we are not able to chant in an absorption mode, we have to understand that we are doing offenses. We are not Trunada Pisuni Chena. So we have to remember this verse from Siksastakam, and then with humble mood, considering realizing ourselves as a Krishna's Nitya Dasas, we should be chanting the holy names of the Lord. There is no other solution or answer for anything that we are having. The only solution is chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So I'm going to stop here, Matajis and Prabhujis. I already took 15 minutes over time. I apologize for that.
No, Mataji, thank you so much for this very, very, very important and wonderful class. And you explained so nicely about 9 process of bhakti and the importance of chanting. So, Mataji, I have one question regarding in the beginning, you said Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya we should do. So, some Matajis, they still have menopause, sorry, monthly periods, they come. So, in that period, should they read Bhagavatam or should
Hearing,
they?
yeah, Mataji, hearing should be done continuously. Hearing and
Yeah, because we in Marathi we read some Matajis, we read Bhagavatam every day in Marathi. So that Mataji was not reading that time. So
we can read, Mataji. Maybe shloka somebody else can read sometimes, but we can do all the time. Chanting and hearing,
yeah,
we can all the time.
hearing she can do. Because
Yeah.
I asked this question to His Holiness Vashishka Maharaj, and he said the same, like we should read because we should not interrupt there should not be gap in reading. But that Mataji says that my mother, my mom, my grandma, they don't touch the holy scriptures when they are in spirit time. So
we are
that's why.
very lucky, Mataji. So I tell devotees, open the phone, read in Vedabase or
So
some other.
what is the what is the spiritual in scriptures? What it says? Is there any mention about this thing?
No,
Mataji?
actually, see, actually, all those things we keep in the temples, right? Like generally, we keep them all holy.
Right now.
And we consider like that is not different. When we bring Bhagavatam, we say that we brought Krishna. So we brought Krishna and we place us. So if any, see, as we grow in spiritual life, we will go out of all those spheres. So the alternatives were always mentioned to us, Mataji. Hearing we can do those 3-4 days, one of the other. If we see, sometimes we tell like, those who get periods, if you can chant on your mala, but if you are having that sentiment that you should not touch, you can chant on fingers or you can chant on a clicker.
और दूसरा माला कर सकते हैं.
And then, so that's why even with these scriptures, like, if we have an online way of reading that, like in Vedabase or anything,
With Marathi, it's not in. It's only in
it's
English,
not there in
Mataji.
Marathi. So, they can listen, Mataji. Listening
Hmm.
is as important. So that 3-4 days they can listen when somebody else is reading.
Okay.
I have in my regular readings many Matajis, they just say, as soon as they join the call, they say, Mataji, I'm listening today. That means we already understand that they don't want to read. So that's perfectly okay. Listening like is also becomes a reading, right? Like, so they can do that. So there is always an alternative way. We don't need to skip. Even like there are so many Matajis in our Bhakti Vriksha, they just delivered babies. And that situation is very unhealthy, very unclean. I mean to say, like but they were chanting all the time. They may not be having mala, but they are chanting all the time. So chanting should not be stopped. We should just find another way of doing it. Like, oh, I can't touch my mala, then I can do it on my fingers. So this is generally a suggestion that I give to here the devotees, like, those 3 days you chant on your fingers, you chant on a clicker, but don't stop chanting. So, so that's how we do.
Yes, Mataji. And they can keep different mala for those period, mala and bead bag for those 4 days, and then they can
And
wash it.
always, like Mataji,
Yeah.
on the 4th day, we can just wash the mala.
Yeah.
That becomes, that is also there. Like,
Yeah,
we just,
instead of chanting on fingers, or
yeah,
because it
yeah.
distracts. Like in finger, something come up.
Yeah, that
And
is also really, see, usually when we can just wash that, like, right now, that mala, all these
or
massage,
two bead
yeah,
bags they can keep, and one
they
for
can keep
this 4
two
period.
bags.
Yeah, 4 days. Like what I was doing. Yeah. Yes, Mataji. So thank you so much, Mataji. I open the forum for all the devotees. If anybody has any question, please ask.
Hare Krishna. This is Geeta. I thank you so much for a very, very inspiring class, and the focus on japa is so very important to do. One is really new about it, but the way you've explained is very nice. I just wanted to check with you regarding surrendering to the Lord. So, when we do karma yoga, we offer, like I used to do, offer the karam I'm doing to the Lord. So, what if in the morning, if we surrender ourselves to the Lord every morning and say, whatever we do today is, we are offering to you, because we forget every time we are, doing something to offer every time. So, is it okay to do once in the morning?
That's best. That's best, Mataji. Start your day, like, because many people ask, practically, I may be in a job where I have to focus on the job, so I may not be thinking about the Lord all the time. But internally, like how a mother of a newborn, if she leaves the baby at home and goes, but back of her mind, she knows, she thinks about the baby. So in the morning, as soon as we pray, we wake up and we go in front of our deities and say, Krishna, guide me, that whatever I do today, I do it for pleasure of you. And then I'm doing whatever I'm doing today. My existence today is for pleasure of you, to serve you. And then we continue with our activities. That affirmation, that positive affirmation in the day is very good, Mataji. So that keeps us on track. Saying that and also praying to the Lord to keep us in that mood all the day, right? Because we may forget sometimes. Somebody says that, oh, you didn't get promotion, somebody else got a promotion at the work. Suddenly the jealousy comes in us, and then we start thinking bad things or anything. So for us to keep always grounded and doing things for the pleasure of the Lord, saying that in the morning, and also seeking shelter of the Lord for helping us to do that the whole day. Add that also, like when we are praying, saying, and then also take help from the take Lord as your guidance, like asking God to guide us, asking God to be with us. So that also helps us to feel the presence of the Lord all the time with us, like how we take a companion to the work. So I often do that, like, a critical situation comes, immediately I think of Krishna. Krishna, be here, help me, that I do the things for the pleasure of you. So like that. So you can do that, Mataji. That's wonderful. That's positive affirmation in the day, starting the day like that.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Madanath Pranam to you. Shri Prabhat ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. So thank you for the reading and class. Like everybody's mentioning, wonderful class, and affirming us with doing chanting, which is very important. And I like one point you said that I do a lot of reading, and then rest of the time I do the remembering of the reading. So it's not like reading and then putting away. So that's something which I take from your class today. I can also follow a little bit like that. So Mataji, one more thing is there, like the first thing in the morning is we have to do chanting. So sometimes what happens is that like the condition in the home is such that people feel hot. We are in Florida, so the weather is like 80, even at night. I mean, the temperature is not cooling now. Earlier it used to. So it's very, very bad. The weather situation is not good. So then you have to keep your AC high up. And then, of course, it's cooling in the house. All these comforts of like Srila Prabhupada said, America is like a heavenly planet. But we still have those 7 problems: birth, death, old age, disease, and those Ati, Bhautik, and all those. That is still happening in spite of all the comforts we have here. So sometimes what happens that in the morning, when we take a bath and then we go through the whole process and then we do chanting, that two problems come. One is that we can fall sick because we've got up from the bed, and then our body is warm with the quilt, and then suddenly you go in the cold and you catch a cold. So then like you can fall sick if you have a bath in the morning. So, and then priority is that you have to quickly start your rounds as soon as possible so you can finish it during before or just sunrise. So is it okay to chant without taking bath?
It's absolutely okay, Mataji, because sometimes when you have high fever, it's not
Yeah.
good for you to take a bath, right? So just get up and brush your teeth and then sit down and chant. So even some people maybe in the bed, they are for some reason they are bedridden. Somebody else has to come and help them brush their teeth. They can't get up and do, and they have to wait for them to come. We don't need to skip chanting for that. Chanting can be done always. We have to be sincere. Like if we are healthy, and then we can get up and brush ourselves, we can even take bath, but we are lazy, and environment is also good, circumstance is also good, but I am just sleeping in the bed because I'm very lazy. That is not sincerity. So we have to be sincere. When our health, when our circumstances are not supporting us to do anything, not doing it will not become not doing it in a perfect way. We should not stop chanting because I'm not able to do it in a perfect way. We can never become perfect in our own way. We have to be sincere. That is based on our circumstances and conditions. See, for a mother whose children are all out of the house, college, she have a lot of time and she's not going to a work. Like let's say for a devotee who is not going to the work, who is retired. Maybe let's not say retired is an age. Let's say for somebody who don't have any morning busyness, they can nicely do aram se. But for some people, they may not be able to do that because they have to get up, cook, clean for 3-4 hours in the morning, pack their lunches and rush. So you tell them that they wake up at 5 and do the things, then they can leave the house only by 8 by working 3 hours. Then you cannot ask them you stop everything and sit down and chant for 2 hours in the morning. So it is always based on the time, circumstances, our situations in the life. So if our health is not permitting, it is not good for us to take bath. Whatsoever the reason it may be because of the AC, it may be like in Midwest and all, it's highly cold in the mornings. So it's not that you have to do only in that way. You have to be sincere. You just get up, brush, sit down and chant. And then whenever the situations and health is permitting, take bath and do that. But many people stop chanting thinking that, oh, I am not able to take bath today, so let me skip the chanting. This is a very common thing. People, they see me, when they see me in any place, they say, oh, I know, you run sessions. You run reading sessions, you run chanting sessions, and your classes are very nice. I heard from my friend, I want to do that, but I will wait, because I want to do that. When I start doing something, I want to do it perfect. So I will wait for that day when I can do perfect. And it's been 4 years now that devotee says the same thing to me every day. And I keep telling to her that you cannot become perfect by yourself. Once you start doing, you will become perfect. So start doing chanting, showing up. Like we say to the people in the gym, right? They say, just show up. That day you may be very busy, you are very tired, you cannot do exercise for 1 hour, but still get up and show up in the gym. That itself makes you to continue the thing for the next day. If you skip, you will skip. So in whatever situation we are, in whatever circumstance we are, according to our health, according to our life, we should be sincere to Krishna, and we should be chanting in that situation in whatever way we are. We should never skip chanting. In whatever situation we are, we should be chanting and thinking about the Lord and doing the things. So it's completely okay to do that, Mataji.
Yes. So Mataji, yeah, what happens is sometimes when you reserve that time, from 4 to 7 in the
Mhm.
morning, and
Mhm.
like 4 to 7, say 4, 5, 6, 3 hours, and in the middle you have to cook also for your husband, and then you take
Mhm.
out time for bath also. That takes another 30, 40 minutes,
Yes.
taking
Yes.
bath, all that, putting tilak and all that stuff. So sometime what happens when the time is short, you quickly just you just wash your mouth, and you just
Mhm.
sit and just chant, and that is
Chant.
perfectly okay, right? That is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yes, Mataji, yes. According to your time and situations, because
Okay. Yeah.
it's always like that. According to our circumstances, Mataji, it's
Yeah,
always according to. Mhm.
because of the bath situation, I was not able to chant in the morning. And then there
Mhm.
was one devotee who told me that, he was mentioning that, like, Mataji, I mean, if I have a bath, then I have to immediately eat something.
Mhm.
So, then my wife will be cooking at 4:35 in the morning. So
Mhm.
that's why, then I was thinking, what is obstructing me to chant in the morning? Why I'm not able to
Mhm.
finish my rounds by 7 o'clock. And then I
Mhm.
realized this whole bath process is creating a lot of problem.
Mhm.
And so then I said, okay, I'll just get up in the morning, wash my mouth and everything, and chant. And then
Mhm.
middle again, I get up to cook. So that time I've not had a bath, but then
Mhm.
that's my circumstance. But luckily in the morning, I'm able to chant then this way. But if I
Mhm.
go for the bath session, and then again, my uh, rounds will be left, and then the bath will be done, and other things will be
Yeah,
done.
I tell many devotees, beginners who, I tell many devotees who wants to start chanting in the morning. I tell them that, uh, uh, get up, brush, wipe your face, sit down, chant. Even if you're chanting one round, it's okay. If because some people are having young children and very busy life in the morning, they say, Mataji, I won't be able to chant whole many rounds, but I still want to experience that chanting. I say, just chant one round. Or if you can't chant, just sit down 5 minutes. If you are having a busy day in the morning, your mornings are extremely busy. But the one thing that we have to, the first thing that we have to do is connecting ourselves to the Lord. So 5 minutes, sit down 5 minutes, connect yourself to the Lord, chant, and then go on with your busy life. So
Yes,
that first thing should not be something else other than chanting of the name or names of the Lord. That could be 1 minute, that could be 5 minutes, that could be 2 hours, that could be something depending on devotee situation. Some devotees chant 64 rounds because they have time. They have situations like that. They don't need to go to work until 11 o'clock, and they don't have children to send to school. They don't need to cook. They have somebody else in the house to cook for them. So it
yes.
depends on the time and circumstances, Mataji, completely.
Okay, Mataji. And also, I noticed one thing, like my daughter, like I have my younger daughter, is my special lead daughter. So what
Mhm.
happens sometimes, she like, doesn't do so much of reading. And I
Mhm.
see how she slackens in her basic things in her life. She'll be lazy, she'll get up late, she'll, would hesitate to her take a bath. So I have to take care
Mhm.
of her. So then I put her on the task of reading loudly. She reads the Krishna book and Bhagavad Gita. Then I find so much change in her, because
Yeah.
sometimes distracted, some, like family members come, or there is some distraction, something happened, we're discussing, and then, I kind of lose track on what she's doing. But then when I've seen that with reading of Srila Prabhupada's books, will make her get up in the morning, make her do her things fast,
Oh,
and so much vibrant energy is there. Just, and that I'm saying because she's like a innocent person, and it reflects on her personality so fast. So
Reading,
so it's so
reading
important to read. Yeah.
all of us just should do reading. I often give this suggestion very often, and I recently went to New Vrindavan and I met a devotee. I forgot, but that devotee said, Mataji, I remember you mentioning that reading 10 minutes a day is very important, and I joined the reading sessions an year back. When you told me that in Sadhu Sangha, I adapted that, and now I'm so happy for reading 15 minutes a day. I kind of know so much about Krishna. I so much know. And then we as a couples also start reading. So that Mataji said. So reading and chanting should be like how we eat every day, how we that should we do every day. And if couples or devotees, they should sit down together and read and chant. That actually makes even the things more and more better. And yeah, reading is very important, Mataji. Reading is important. Chanting is important. These are like must things in a day. The day that we don't do, actually, we lived as a body. We did not live as a soul, because the only position of the soul is that soul is Krishna's Nitya Dhasa. And if our day goes without these two things, that means that day we completely lived as the body, which is not us. And we wasted our valuable day. So nothing should not be so busy in our life. Of course, some circumstances come where critical situations can come in our life, where we may not be able to sit down and chant or sit down and read. At that point of times, we should be playing the audios, hearing. Some people, they spend the whole day in cooking. So they should play Prabhupada's chanting or some chanting next to them, and they should chant with that, and then they should continue. So we should find ways. We should be innovative in finding ways, but we should never, we should have the desire that I am not going to skip, but I'll find a way to do it. So.
Yes, Mataji. And Mataji, one more thing, like you talked about obeisances is very important, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
like when we talk about obeisances, the two aspects come to my mind. One is when we offer bhoga, right? And one is when we go to the temple, and of course, there are devotees who pay obeisances to each other, but we pay obeisance to the deities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, is there any specific standard? Like I know when we offer bhoga, we offer obeisances and read the prayer 3 times, and then leave the bhoga there.
Standard is like men should do dandavat, women should
Yeah.
kneel down and do. And then the first thing when we see the deities is after paying our dandavat pranams, we should be praising, practice some slokas, few slokas in the praise of the Lord. Either you take from Bhishma's prayers or take from Kunti Devi's prayers or any. There are so many. Bhagavatam has wonderful prayers. We don't need to say our own prayer. You can say your own prayer to Krishna also, like saying, Krishna, you are so merciful. Krishna, like you can put it in your own words, or you can always take the prayers from Bhagavatam. There are so many, Namo Pankajanabhaya, that from Kunti prayers. So find one or two simple, according to our level, how much ever we can remember. Take some of those prayers, memorize them, and sit down in front of Krishna and say, if you cannot memorize any slokas, chant the holy names of the Lord in front of him. That is the first thing that we have to do. Paying obeisances is that, offering our prayers to the Lord. Most of the times, many people, they don't know. As soon as they see Krishna, they put in front of him the list, that Krishna, you have to do this to me. Krishna, I'm having this trouble. Krishna, no. First thing that we have to do is praying to Krishna. After praying to Krishna only, we should put our list. If we have any. If we don't have any, that is good. So that is the only standard I know, Mataji. With our body, mind, and words. That means body should be in a position that we bend down and fold our hands. All those gestures we do from body. And our mind with thoughts of Krishna, and words, if we know any prayers, we use those prayers. So with mana, kaya, vacha. All the three should be in alignment with Krishna.
BMW, Mataji. Body.
Body,
And
mind, and
like
words.
it's important to also pay obeisances twice, right? Before offering bhoga and then also after taking the bhoga.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
After offering, because many offenses done in the service, at the end, like, I mean,
Okay.
those who do deity worship can say more. Since I have deities at home, I'm just telling from that. But in temple, the standards are even high, right? Like, I was
Yes.
observing the devotees who are doing the deity worship in temple in New Vrindavan last weekend. I went, so I was like really, really amazed. I always have a awe for those devotees who do those alankaras to the deities, and I pray my dandavat pranams to all those devotees. Such a wonderful service they are all doing. Um, yeah, and in the process of doing that service, our mind may be somewhere else. So at the end also we have to pay obeisances, asking forgiveness from the offenses that we have done in the service to the Lord. So we should do that.
And that's for the bhoga offering. And also for the deities, like whenever we enter the room and we
Yes.
see the deities, we should first pay obeisance to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, first Srila Prabhupada from the left side, and then we go to the Radha Krishna or
To the
Jagannath
deity.
Babu.
Yeah. And then if we are there for the program or whatever, and after then we leave again, we pay obeisances.
Yeah, and we
Now
also
what?
pay obeisances to the Vaishnavas in the room.
So that comes alongside only,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
After
Twice you bow down.
Prabhupada Krishna, and we pay obeisances to the Vaishnavas whenever we meet them, whenever we are leaving their associations.
So
We
Mataji,
always
if
should.
we are, if we are like all the time, like suppose we are in the DT's room, and then again we're going out, again we are coming, and there's some work going on. We have to go in and out every time we do that, or is it we can do
No,
it?
we can mentally do that, Mataji. If you may not be able to kneel down every time, we may get
First
out.
time we can do, and then later on, if
Yeah,
we are
and then
going in
all
and
the
out,
time you just stand and bend your head and say that, just like that. Or if work is going on, you're working, then you can do in the beginning and in the end, because that's not practical, right? Like you go to bring
yes.
something and then you go, and then that's not practical. But first time you enter and then in the last, like.
Yes. I just wanted to just some basic clarification, because what happens is, like we slacken in things sometimes, like lately I was offering the bhoga and then I would just pick it up and not offer, bow down again after picking the bhoga up. So then I said, why am I doing this? I mean, and today when I heard the importance of bowing down, surrendering to
Yeah.
Krishna, then I felt, no, I should not come down from the standards which I've been maintaining before. And similarly, other things also like chanting, I was mentioning, how, so just some clarification I needed, so thank you so much, Mataji, for clearing up these doubts. And I'm just praying that I can get up in the morning and have a bath and, also get that time also, and because it's really nice in the morning if you have a bath and you feel actually free. Otherwise, what happens then afterwards, the conference call starts. The
Yeah.
moment you finish your round from, say, like 5 to 7, and then again the class starts, and again you cannot take a bath because you're, sitting and hearing. So, but it is a struggle in the sense that and you said like time, place, circumstances, according to that we do. So somehow we are able to chant in the morning, especially with me, like I just can't concentrate when like after 7 o'clock. So I
Yeah.
have to get up at 4 and chant. Otherwise, my mind is going here and there, and it's very, very disturbing. So, I try to finish my rounds in the morning. And then that is just a phase right now. I'm doing. Again, something comes and again it's gone.
That's why we have association of devotees, Mataji. We encourage each other. We
Yeah.
help each other to perform the things, because material life is difficult. It's not like very easy that all of us can do everything all the time.
Yeah.
So
Like
that's why we need association of devotees
we
to
need association, because I'm seeing one thing, like little bit struggle is there in
yeah.
chanting and, having your rounds done. It's not easy
Mhm.
actually to do the
Mhm.
16 rounds like that. I mean, 2 hours, and some people will say 1 hour, 20 minutes. It doesn't work with me. In fact, with me, 35 minutes it takes me to do 4 rounds. 40 minutes. It is never 30 because my speed, I'll miss the Hare Hare or something I will miss out in the Mahamantra.
Or
So
we
then,
have to chant.
I'm like taking almost sometimes 2 hours, 20 minutes, like
I
that.
don't know, Madhuri. I don't advise anybody to look at the times. The important thing is that
Yeah.
we have to chant clearly. We have to chant according to the pace that is good for us. And most important thing is like we have to be doing an attentive chanting. So sometimes the chanting takes longer time because we are not attentive. Some people they will be chanting and in between they'll check the phone, or in between they'll be sleeping. So those things, if we can avoid, you take your own pace. Some devotees, they take the minimum 8 to 9 minutes per round. But some people can say faster, some people can say slow. So there is no standard there, but we should make sure that we are not sleeping while chanting. Too slow as if we are going to sleep, and too fast as if we are missing the words, we are missing the syllabus, and we don't even know what we are chanting. So that should not be the case. That's why we should chant always in association of devotees. The another benefit that we observed in our chanting calls that goes on in a day is devotees chant loudly. So we help devotees if they are going wrong. We send a personal message to them that you are missing the syllable, and you are not pronouncing this correctly. And many devotees came back and said that chanting with devotees have helped them to do an attentive chanting, because some devotees, when they are chanting, they sleep and then suddenly they pick. So they said it bring their attentiveness. So all of the devotees should make use of the chanting calls available, like everyday chant call also should chant in the association of devotees to chant even more attentively. So that should be our goal, chanting every syllable correctly, every mantra correctly. Every mantra should be absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. So that is most important, Mataji.
Yes,
That is
Mataji, but
very
that
important.
is so soothing that it even makes you sleep. you know I mean, in a way, if you think of it, another benefit is if person is having a problem sleeping, we can tell them they have insomnia or something. They can chant; it'll make them sleep. So it's helping anyway, anyhow. But yeah,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course, I'm just saying we
That is
should
also
sleep. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I'm just saying it's like beneficial, like how we
Yeah,
say for the
it's true. It's
cow,
true.
right? Everything about the
It's
cow is
true.
beneficial. The milk, the ghee, the urine, the
Yeah,
like it's called.
my little one complains sometimes I'm not getting sleep. She's rolling on her, but I say chant, you'll get sleep. So I just tell her that. So chanting, yeah, we can do that. We can use chanting anywhere. Use every excuse to chant. You are sad, chant. You are happy, chant. Anything we can chant, Mataji. That should be our main thing.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. I'm sure somebody has question. Took a long time, but then I'm thinking that uh, it's like I just wanted to have some association, and just wanted to. It's difficult to otherwise who to ask what to do, and so just trying my best, and trying to finish my rounds in the morning. It is a struggle, but still I will continue with it, because otherwise it's very, very hard. And like Shibadrani Prabhu says on the call, that if you don't chant in the morning, and that keeps ringing in my head, then the whole day you can chant. And sometimes it takes almost like, like 1 hour doing even 4 rounds, because there's so much of
Yeah.
distraction, like you said. That's why I look at the time. I'm like, like suppose I'm chanting at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. And then, I'm seeing that I started this round around 11, and it's been almost 12 and I've just done 4 rounds. So that I'm like, I said, so much a distraction my mind is, because then like from that point of view, I see the time. So even in the morning, like Brahmura time also, I check, okay, it's, like 5. So by 7, I should finish, like all my rounds. So I keep a track of time, but then, somehow I've been doing it, but I should not. I know I should concentrate more on the holy name. I'm not there yet, Mataji. So I'm trying my best. Thank you, Mataji.
We'll go
Hare,
ahead.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If we don't have any questions or comments, we can conclude here, Mataji's and Prabhuji's. I
Yes,
feel
ma'am.
myself, yep, I feel myself fortunate for getting this, speaking on this verse. All of you go and read this verse and the purport, wonderfully written. 9 processes of devotional service. Thank you all so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya, rupa sindhubhya eva cha,
Patita
patitanam pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo namah.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य श्री दास ठाकुर की जय। श्री प्रभात की जय। ग्रंथराज
Jai
श्री
Guru Maharaj.
हर ग्रेस
Hare Krishna.
मंजरी माता जी की जय।
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, and good to know that you visited New Vrindavan.
Oh yes, Prabhu. I was looking for you both if I can find
Yeah.
you all.
You know, hope you
Yeah.
met some devotees like Badrani Prabhu or maybe
Yes,
Jai
we
Shri
met
Mataji.
Badra in we met Badra in Das Prabhu for few minutes. He was in rush. And then we met a couple of devotees. But we got a very wonderful time, peaceful time in New Vrindavan. We were there for 2 days. And we really had a very good time. And I was just attracted by Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Like
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
They are so mesmerizing, Mataji.
yeah, his eyes are so like as if he's welcoming us. He's
Yes.
welcoming us. Oh, like how
really
like
he is standing there.
he's like, oh, come home. I'm waiting for you. How are you? Like that, I felt like I just don't know. I was getting tears when I was looking into it, and so wonderful, so wonderful.
with
And I was thinking about you both only because you both do so much service. I was thinking about you both.
When did you
Thank
went,
you,
Mataji?
Mataji.
We went on Friday and Saturday of last week, Mataji.
And your Bhakti Vriksha devotees was there too?
No, I
Your
met
family only.
devotees from other places who know me from other classes.
Very good.
Like that I met, and that's how. But we went alone. We just
Your
we just
family, yeah.
try our best once a year come to New Vrindavan. It's very like far, 12 hours for us, but we just try. So yeah, and
They're going to next weekend, Mataji, with our family friend. They are coming from
oh,
New York. So they also want us to come there. Like we are going, so you come there. Then it will be.
oh, I see you go very often. I was telling to Rupanu Krishnadas Prabhu also, like you both are very lucky. Like very often you can visit. So we are we can only visit.
4 hours from our home, Mataji. So Krishna made that arrangement.
Yeah, my Prabhu is also very lucky because he goes to Chicago. He's in Naperville Temple only all the time.
Very
The
nice.
3 days he serves there. So I get I don't get that opportunity all the time to visit the temples, but whenever I get, I do that. And
Yes. Yeah, you are serving kids, Mataji. So and DT, that is your DT worship.
yes, and the Bhakti Vriksha here that goes on. So
Yeah, and so other conference calls and everything. Yeah.
yes,
More than DT worship, Mataji.
yes, Mataji, thank you so much. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Thank you for your time, Mataji. You are working and taking care of 3 kids, but still you give time to our conference call and your great association.
Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bo, Dandvat Pranam.
Thank you.